There is no way that this game, yes, this game, is good. Right? Wrong! I'll be completely honest, when I first saw Stellar Blade's original trailer, I thought surely a game selling itself with this much booty and jiggle physics, that's what I meant to say. But to be honest, it pretty much is jizzle physics. That's a word I've just coined, yeah? So you guys can have that for free. I thought surely it can't possibly be a positive experience. Surely it's just going to be a microtransaction filled mess where we buy things to make the main character look even hotter. But if this demo is anything to go off, then damn, Stellar Blade is going to be an amazing thrill ride of a game. Let's start with the controversy surrounding this game. I say controversy, but it's like 3 people on Twitter complaining about everything as usual. A very loud minority anyway. As a straight male, let me just say that I have no problem with how this or any of the other characters in Stellar Blade look. Whether or not this character is realistic to a human woman is irrelevant because it is a game. Games are an escape from reality, so why would I want it to be realistic? I have no problem having extreme or unrealistic versions of people in games no matter what gender or sex they are. So with that nonsense out of the way, let's talk about the actual game. The combat is fluid and rewarding. It's complex yet easy to pick up and understand. I am usually overwhelmed by super complex combat systems, and, most of the time I try and get by learning the bare minimum, but Stellar Blade makes it rewarding to learn the ins and outs of the system. There is no stamina bar, which I actually enjoyed a lot because I am terrible at keeping track of my stamina. All normal attacks can be parried, and the timing is fairly forgiving, at least when compared to Rise of the Ronin, which I am currently playing. Each perfect parry removes a small dot below the enemy's health bar, and once depleted, Eve, the main character, can perform a retribution attack which does massive damage, with very cool animations. There is also dodging, which is the only way to avoid the attacks that have a coloured bubble before them. There's a perfect dodge, which allows you to quickly counterattack if you dodge at just the correct moment, which makes dodging and parrying both useful and meaningful ways to fight your enemies. I feel in a lot of games one is usually more useful than the other, so you end up exclusively using parrying, like in Sekiro, or dodging in Dark Souls. Attacks that glow blue or purple can be perfectly dodged, and the timing is shown when to press the dodge button by a flash on your sword. This gives you a very nice animation by either flying behind the enemy or away from them, with an option to fly back and attack immediately. And wow, does this feel great. But wait, there's more! You have a shield, not like a traditional shield that you're holding, it's kind of like a shield on your exosuit thing, and so do the bigger enemies in the game. While active, you or the enemy take less damage. Once it's drained, you can perform special attacks on enemies, which is a nice touch. Lastly, there is beta skills, which are the classic build up a special meter by attacking and parrying until the bar is filled, then you can perform an extra strong attack. In this game, you can bank a lot of charges though, and they really do feel impactful. The basic attacks feel responsive, and honestly, I am really surprised at how good this combat system is. I wasn't sure about how it would feel to actually play from watching gameplay, but I can confirm it feels great. I honestly think if the entire game is this good, then it will be one of the best combat systems we've had this generation. There are several large skill trees, and from what I saw, they have a surprising amount of depth and useful abilities that I found myself practicing in the practice tool and really wanted to get engrossed in learning everything I could. The gear and the loot look interesting, however I didn't get to look into much of it as the demo doesn't have much of that kind of thing unlocked. In the boss battle mode you unlock after beating the demo, you can see a few things such as different exo spines and earrings etc. that you can change how you approach battles with different bonuses that they give. There's also obviously a bunch of cosmetic things for Eve, and they all look pretty fire to me. So the demo is only just over an hour long if you don't die a million times like me, so I didn't get to see a large amount of the enemy designs, but the ones present in the demo were all amazing. They're all gruesome, unique, and interesting. Simply put, they all look freaking badass. I am terrified to face off against them and feel overjoyed once I finally beat them and rip into their meaty skin to finish them off. The general aesthetic of the game is different, and I really appreciate its style and art direction. The world is beautiful, even though it's obviously falling apart and full of disgusting creatures. The graphics are top notch, and from what I saw in the demo, it runs buttery smooth the entire time, even during some pretty intense moments, which in this day and age is sadly not a given. I couldn't tell you what FPS it ran at, but I know it's over 30 because I always notice 30 FPS games and sometimes they give me a headache. I played on balanced mode for the graphics, and I honestly would be very happy with the performance if it remained like this for the entire game. Boss battles are an obvious highlight for this game, and they do not disappoint. Hard, but fair. No boss ever felt unbeatable or had unreasonable attacks, it always just felt like I needed to get better to win. I'm not the greatest gamer to ever live, so I can sometimes struggle with hard bosses. If they feel fair, like the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3, I will spend an entire week playing until I finally win, but if it feels unfair, I'll just put the game down. This feels like the former, and I can confidently say that the demo's bosses are absolutely fantastic. Hopefully, they can keep up the quality throughout the entire experience. I can't believe I've not talked about the story yet. Like I said, the demo is only an hour long, and it is the beginning of the game, so you do get a nice slice of the story to set you up. Mild spoilers here, just so you know. Eve crash lands on Earth in her pod after a disastrous attack on the occupying Nativa of Earth, who have overrun and taken the planet. It appears as though Eve is some kind of super soldier designed to take out the Nativa. The game gives you subtle hints about Eve as you play without ever outright saying much at all. For instance, when she gets to the city level, it's raining and she describes it as a strange sensation and then deduces that it must be Earth's rain. This shows us she's never been to Earth and was most likely raised in space or on another planet. She may not even be human. I'm sure much will be revealed in the main game. Humanity no longer resides on Earth, but you get to explore the old streets of what looks like a modern city and fight off the Nativa enemies that have made Earth their home. We also meet this guy who saves Eve at the beginning of the game, and I'm ashamed to say I didn't even get the reference until after I'd finished the demo, but his name is Adam. So it'll be interesting to see how the story unfolds. It's intriguing and I'm honestly hooked. Cutscenes are all beautiful and very entertaining. The voice acting so far all seems to be top notch as well, which is something that can really ruin my experience of a story if it's bad. So that's pretty good. I think some people might get irritated by the constant tennis wailing during battles, but I didn't even notice it when playing, so I don't think that will be a problem for me. Just a quick note, so far there is no sign of microtransactions, but as we know, you will never know until the release or even after release if there are plans to have them in the game. I didn't see any red flags in this department, but I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that there won't be any present on release. I only have minor negatives to say about this demo as no game is perfect. I think some of the animations such as sitting at chairs etc. might get a little irritating if we have to do it often enough, but that's a very small gripe that might not even be an issue. And lastly, it's a PS5 exclusive, which I dislike, as exclusives only benefit the companies themselves. Come on guys, let everyone play the games. Side note, console wars are pathetic, and if you're over the age of 15 and still participating in them, you need to grow up. Sorry, I need to stay off Twitter, don't I? Also, I want to say that once again, I very much appreciate a demo. I would not have brought this game if it wasn't for the demo. I wish more companies would do this. So the game is more than just hot characters and upward facing camera angles. I am surprised, but honestly think this could be one of the best games of 2024 if it keeps the momentum of the opening hour up. Check out some of my other content on screen now.